Yeah, the echo, we couldn't hear whenever me and you was talking about all the people that you've worked with, and then we got to the coachability standpoint. Let's recap that conversation so that they can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I think like are we starting with who artists I've worked with?
Yeah, the artists that you've worked with.
Okay, yeah.
And
So
just
like,
the same.
yeah. I mean, I went from Upchurch to Redneck, Redneck Soldiers, Luke Combs, Riley Green, Muscadine Bloodline. You know, Jelly Roll, by the grace of God, dude, the big fat man I love.
I
he's like
got
a big
to meet
brother
him yesterday.
to me. Yeah, so it's like, but like I think that like you look at some of these artists and like one thing that, you know, Muscadine Bloodline, for instance, did great in their career was getting out and swinging the bat. Did they have the biggest budget in the world at first for production? No. You know what? Like they had a very minimal budget when it really came down to it. And they took a minimal budget and did 4 songs for, if I told you to date what those 4 songs cost, it would blow your mind.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But that one of those songs will be a gold record. In between the video and the song, there wasn't $1,000 in something that's going to be a gold record. It will be a gold record. So
see, you remember, like, that throws me back to Soulja Boy, like how his shit was literally shot off of a cell phone back then, like when he first started his little come up. Like,
yeah, it's a different world.
Lil Peep now, God rest his soul, but Lil Peep's videos are literally shot on 4K cameras and then dumbed down to where it looks like shitty quality. Like they're literally shooting on red cams and shit and then dubbing it all the way down to the shittiest quality they can get now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different world we live in. Like, and I don't think that people are like quality nerds. It's like they're not like worried about the technical aspects of your video. Yeah. They're worried about seeing the video, feeling the message, feeling the emotion, getting something conveyed, whether it's something they can learn from you, whether you're providing educational or entertainment value. That's what people are looking for. They're looking to either learn something or get entertained by something.
Yeah.
So I think that all creators and musicians especially need to embrace video content and use that as the platform, because like I hate to see when an artist does a million things right, like does so much right, like writes a badass song, produces it in a badass way, puts a badass artwork behind it, uploads it with a badass distributor, and then expects it to pop off.
It don't work like that.
It never, ever.
It never works like that. I dropped
16
a whole
years
album by myself before I came out here. And I was like, I took everything down when I got out here. Like, once Al started hipping me to how shit works and how promotion and actually putting time into shit and getting people on the hook about it and lining up features for the songs and all of that, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go delete my whole fucking album. I don't know why the fuck I did that. I thought it was going to blow up.
Yeah, it's just like it doesn't work like that. So all your energy as an artist, I think is better spent like financially. Your money is better spent marketing and getting the music in front of people and not hyper focusing and blowing your budget on.
That's very true, Matt, because I spent probably $1,200 on my album, just going and getting in, just putting in the hours, going and knocking out 4 to 8 hour blocks at the studio, literally trying to record as much as I possibly can and perfect the tracks that I had. Probably spent about $1,200. I've made $14 to this day off the album. So, I mean, that goes to show, you know, you can put as much money as you want to, but if you don't put the right steps behind what you're doing and you don't line up the features, you don't get people behind it, you don't get shout outs, you don't do what you need to do to be out here and in the public eye, nobody's gonna listen to your shit.
Yeah, and I've never one time really met someone that didn't have a successful marketing plan and had a successful product.
Yeah.
Like behind every product is some successful way to get the knowledge that the product is good out there. You know, like
Al's in here bringing us marijuana.
Oh snap!
It's CBD, guys. It's CBD, guys.
In the meeting, so y'all are getting what I got to pay 20% for free. All of y'all.
He said, Al said, Matt and him just had this same exact conversation. He said, so y'all are getting everything that he just got paid 20% for free. So we're putting y'all on some great games. This is what happens when you fucking tune in to the Ratchet Ass Kid Show. You never know. See, we got fucking Matthew Wallace in here. We just played Southern Hospitality before you came in, so they know who the fuck you are.
Oh, that's great.
And I love that record, by the way. I love that record.
The funny thing about that is that's honestly my first placement as a producer in probably like 12 years. So it was like a crazy thing. I started managing Jelly, and he didn't even really know I made beats or nothing. And then one day, me and my roommate who made that beat with me is my production partner, Stu Stapleton. He's fucking cold at keys. And this is like where I go back to every team. Like every team I'm on, whether it's my management team, whether it's my production team, whether it's my, artist team, whether it's, I built a team around me that is talented and fills in the gaps of what I can't do. I am a great programmer. I can program keys. I understand music theory to the nth degree. I'm a jazz saxophonist trained.
You're probably type that can look at a track and be like, you need to bring those vocals down right there.
I mean, I can read music, tell you what key it's in. Like, there's no like guessing with the auto tuner function. Like, it's not like that. Like, I play multiple instruments, so it's like knowing that it's like I can do all those things, but you know what? There's a human being in this world that plays keys and can really play keys. Yeah. Like, and all I got to do is know him. Or, this is Nashville, Tennessee, so there's session players everywhere. So it's like if there's a guitar part I can't play, I can find somebody who can play it.
Literally,
does that make me less of a producer?
No, it does not at all. It just means you're outsourcing. It's just like going around and find perfect sounds and shit.
And I promise you, the best music is made via collaborative effort like that. Yeah. And it's like in some instances, you might have a mix engineer that has a significant amount of sauce. Yeah. Like mix and mastering, I think, is one of the reasons why I'm such a valuable, like in my production team, me and Stu, like he's a great keyboard player, but he can't play a guitar. Yeah. Well, Jelly Roll is very guitar driven music. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of having a guitar guy on the team is essential, but also having great mixing and mastering skills. It's like our beats go to every artist with a real mix and a real master on it. It's real analog gear. Yeah. It's real. And I use a lot of plugins too, like analog gear, UAD plugins, sound toys. Like these are all weapons in my arsenal as a mix engineer and mastering engineer. Yeah. And it's like, but doing that, it's like, I promise you, not only is the instrumentation and the loops you get going to be unique and one of a kind, because nobody else is playing the parts I'm playing on guitar. I'm not grabbing my shit off Splice.
You're not going to Looper Man and grabbing your shit.
No, and not saying that's bad, and you shouldn't do that. You should. It's reps, like I said earlier. Life is about repetition. Like,
that's how I've been learning, is just going to Looperman, and then I'll come up with a melody from Looperman or something like that, and then Fibonacci, he'll come in. Shout out Fibonacci Beats, he's at work right now. Fibonacci will come in and he'll be like, okay, so this is how you play a drum on that. This is what you do here, right? Like, and we're just sharpening each other, because I'm pretty sure he's probably been making beats for so long, there's probably not a lot of melodies that he thinks that he hasn't heard. So then having a new ear come in and be like, here's some new melodies, here I heard this, let's add guitars to it, let's get more poppy with it, let's get more EDM driven with it. And just, because you've heard the track that me and Gracie's working on, right?
Yep.
What'd you think of it? Give me your honest opinion.
I mean, for how old are you? 22? And
she's 20? Yeah,
I can't.
20 and 22?
Right now.
And start to back, it's all you. Like, right.
Yeah.
Mix to master. I mean, bro, I can't honestly tell you I was better than that at 22. Yeah. I can't. Like my first my biggest placement came. My first big placement came at 30 years old, dog. Yeah. Not 30, 31.
And that just goes out there to all y'all that try saying y'all too old to do something, or that too much of your life's been put into something else that you can't. Because I've learned that no matter how long it takes, it took me 10 years. I'm 22. Imagine if, okay, for instance, somebody started at 22. You're going to be 32 before you make it in them 10 years. I haven't even made it yet. And the sense is, I feel like it's more or less the universe knowing that you're not ready to take on them type of responsibilities at that time in your life, and pushing it off until you are mature enough to actually handle that shit and know what to do when you have money in your pocket. Know not to go out here and buy fucking flashy jewelry and fucking do all this dumb shit. And it's just, some people push it too much to where, they do get hit with them type of responsibilities before they're ready. But that's whenever it's make it or break it time. You're either like, okay, so I have a day to man the fuck up. I became a millionaire today. I have a day to man the fuck up, or go blow my money.
Yeah. And two, I think people, they see very, very much a small portion of production. Like, and I hate to do this and I hate to say it, but it's like there's a very big difference between a beat maker
Yeah.
and a producer.
Yeah.
And 100 out of 100 times, most of the time when someone tells me they're a producer, they're a beat maker, and that's okay. You know what? But it's like, know your weaknesses and know your strengths. I know when it comes to contracts and executive production and getting mechanical royalty licenses and work for hire agreements and being the Rick Rubin, bro, that's where I shine. Like paperwork, I'm a CPA, certified public accountant. Like paperwork is my shit. Like, you know, so it's like, but there are so many producers, beat makers, that they didn't go partner up with somebody that had that skill set that I had.
Yeah.
So they never realized their full potential as a producer.
Exactly. So tell me in a nutshell the story of how you got from 22 years old to how old did you say whenever you got your first placement?
31 really.
Yeah, tell me like the transition and the change and like in a nutshell of really what formed you into being ready and mature to be able to handle that type of responsibilities and stuff.
Yeah, so like I guess I've been making beats and shit since I was 16 years old. And now have moved to a whole different scenario. So it's like I went to MTSU at 17 years old and ended up graduating at 22. And like I went for recording industry, production, and technology. So I wanted to be an engineering major, right? And I thought I just wanted to be a knob turner. And I got to like my senior semester and I was like, man, dude, like this is like, I'm not learning shit, man. I knew what a compressor did. I knew what an EQ did. I knew fucking mastering theory. You know, I've been working in a DAW for 6 years. I had my own Pro Tools 7 LE set up. I was charging $7 an hour out of my dorm room to track rappers.
$7? Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was the kid in me at fucking 17 years old that like did that the 5 years I was at MTSU and just like got all those reps to where like my senior year, I was like, well, man, what do I really need to know? And I was like, man, I need to be a hella good businessman.
Yeah.
And behind every great businessman I've learned is a knowledge of financials and accounting. And so, with that knowledge of financials and accounting, I was able to, you know, hang on real quick.
You're good, Matt. Seems like you're cutting out a little bit. You're good.
Answer your phone. Just try calling you 3 times.
I'm on my interview.
All right, am I back?
Yeah, you're back in here.
Okay,
we got full time. He said this is golden right now.
So going from so I started and I ended up changing my major to accounting and jumped into just a completely CPA financial background, right? And so with that CPA financial background, I was able to like get like a street degree in business, right? So like I worked as a public accountant and I went and audited companies. So I learned how a distribution company worked from the sense of maybe they distributed music equipment or medical equipment and that kind of thing. So it's like, so I learned different industries and different things along the way that I was able to adapt. Like, okay, well, this is what makes a successful business a successful business, whether it's packaging, whether it's a doctor's office, whether it's a physician's equipment. This is what makes a successful business, right? And so like taking that knowledge and then fast forward in a few years. So you do that for 3 years, right? And then all of a sudden I came to a place where I was working in a CPA capacity with a bunch of different artists. So outsider walking in, I just come in, I'm like, okay, well, let me just learn about your business like I would do with any CEO from any company. So I'm like, tell me about your business. And, you know, usually people are transparent to brag about it when they're doing well. So they're like, well, man, I'm doing, you know, 1 million streams a month on Spotify. or something. And, in my head, I'm like, okay, well, who's your distributor? And they're like, well, I'm going through TuneCore. And I'm like, okay, well, you're making 0.0038 cents. You're doing $1 million a month. You're making $3,800 a month in Spotify, roughly. You know what I'm saying? It's like just doing that math and having a knowledge of their business is how I was able to be like, okay, well, this is things you should invest your time in, and you're going to get a return on that investment.
Yeah.
And I found that art is not in the music business much. The art of looking at things in terms of ROI is missing from the music business. And it's why the music business is fundamentally terribly wrong.
Yeah.
It's like it's created unhealthy habits. And I think it's because, dude, the real businesses I worked with, the money they made dwarfed the money the music business makes. Yeah. Like, the music business is not a big fucking industry.
Yeah.
Like medical equipment supply, the cancer industry, these are big industries.
Yeah.
Like, recorded music, very small potatoes. So people with an immense amount of business talent, I found aren't in this industry.
Yeah.
And then the ones that are and are doing it independently are very successful.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's any rhyme or reason to the fact that I've only worked with independent acts, because every single one of those independent acts has been successful. And I don't think it was, is this the most talented artist in the world? Bro, I can tell you on God, no, with most of my acts.
Yeah.
But did they have a lot of the criteria? And were they coachable?
Yeah, coachable and can be polished.
And did they understand what I was saying enough to know, okay, Matt's going to look in things in terms of ROI. So if he's saying invest my energy into it, he's at least analyzed that it's worth my fucking time. Yeah. And I think that's the key, is like most artists chase the guidance of what someone tells them.
Yeah.
And it's not someone that's really fit to be given any fucking guidance.
Exactly. It's just somebody who might have had somebody pop around them that they was a manager for at that time.
They think they know something and they feel validated because they were in a room at a time. And it's like, no, dude, I've done this in every industry.
Yeah.
I've done this. Music business is like super easy. Like, it's not tough. And I look at it like everybody thinks you've got to sign a record deal to market your music. You don't. Like, you can market it now. There's nothing stopping Jelly Roll from marketing his music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we going to get put in major movies? Probably not, because Universal Movies probably is going to put Universal Music in there.
Yeah,
and we're not signed to Universal Music, right? So, oh, there he is. Handsome Alexander King.
He said the handsome Alexander King with the headphones on.
So for me, it's like, it's like those opportunities, I think, for us to win and excel as an independent artist come from building your business and your infrastructure right.
Yeah.
Russ built his business and his infrastructure right. Cody Johnson, a country example, built his business and his infrastructure right. Shout out Co Wetzel, my dude in Texas, built his business and infrastructure right. These are independent, thriving machines, and I think it goes from that ground up mentality. It's properly assessing the necessary things to get done, not getting clouded, not running through some artificial quality control system that every release is a do or die moment that the major labels hold on to. They're like, oh my God, if we release something that's not perfect, it's going to crush your career.
And then they fucking blackball the artists most of the time, because I know I've got homies that moved out to Cali and shit and signed and then ended up being writers instead, getting pushed to be writers. Like, nah, that project we worked on for you, that single we dropped didn't work, so now you're going to write for the other artist on our label. So I've had homies like that are now making millions upon millions of dollars in the music business once they broke away from shit like that and broke away from them type of people. And it's just, like you said, the table legs.
Yeah, and so I think the key in life is like building that team around you and building that business and really understanding that, like everybody starts at the same position.
Yeah.
And some people get to a higher place quicker, but just because they're getting, 1 million streams a day, how much of that do they own? I mean, most record labels I've seen, it's a work for hire contract, and you own 0% of your masters. So enjoy your net receipts royalty after recoup, and you don't control what expenses are spent, and you got an $8 million budget, and you're in the red forever and never see a dime off records, and COVID-19 hits, and you can't make any money because you can't tour, and you don't own your records, and you're in the red. What do you do, major label artist? Like that's the...
You go based off what the major label tells you to do next, which isn't finna be anything beneficial towards you.
They're cutting their artists. I mean, William Morris just fired however many more employees. Like, the music industry is shaken up because it was so dependent from the artist standpoint upon touring, because everybody's giving their fucking intellectual property away. Like, it's not worth anything.
Yeah, because they don't realize the bigger picture of what this shit is, and that it's not just selling your fucking song. Like, I used to think it was all about selling your song. You want to go viral. You want your song to go viral. You don't just want your song to go viral. You want your song to go viral so that it sells the fucking t-shirts, so that it sells the fucking merch at the fucking shows, that you sell fucking tickets whenever you go to different cities that you don't think people are going to know you at. That's what it's all about. It's not about just selling that song, and too many people get hung up on the idea of just selling their fucking idea because it's just a fucking song. It's not just a fucking song. It's your brand. It's everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next 10 years of their life.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And two, I just want to echo what you said earlier. It's never too late to do nothing. I just started putting my music out 6 months ago. I've been, a producer and a manager and a CPA and everything. So it's like, to be where I'm at now, and thankfully I've got a warrior in a client, and Jelly Roll, dude, he's the most inspiring, fiery, just like light a fire under a motherfucker human being on planet Earth. And I can't say that enough about his infectiously amazing charisma and enthusiasm for going after it and getting up to the plate and swinging the fucking bat. Like, it is truly inspiring. And I think being around that is like, that's a reason I wanted to be on his team. Yeah. That's a reason why I said, hey man, I'm managing 3 bands. I don't want to manage the other 2 bands anymore. I want to manage Jelly Roll because I believe in his mission, his vision, where he's taken, his career, what he does. Like, it would be completely different if I didn't have to see the flood of inbox of messages that he gets about how his music has touched someone or saved their life. And like,
and it's the same feeling for me, pretty much being Tiny manager in a sense, like Tiny day-to-day manager with Al, it's the same sense here, because like, I didn't really have a big music career, and then I see him, and I'm like, yo, like, you're not being fully an artist right now. You feel me? Like, look at these fucking inboxes. Like, you gave me access to your accounts and shit. Look at this shit. Like, you see how much people fucking love you, and like, it's fucking great being able to be that person to be like, nah, but people fucking love you. Whenever certain shit hits the fan, and then you can be there as a manager to be like, nah. People fucking love you. If you quit making music today, there's going to be so many people fucking devastated.
Yeah. And I think we all have that moment where we're like, well, dude, what if we wake up and no one's like, no one's listening to my music anymore? It's like, it's different than that. We have streaming, so you get paid by the stream, and like, streaming is like not something that's going to go away. Like, if you want to go look up legacy acts right now, like rock bands from my childhood, The Offspring, people still streaming. Like, it's an inevitable thing that streaming will live and survive and thrive, and was the perfect replacement to was the perfect replacement to piracy. I mean, it corrected piracy.
Oh shit, we got the Owl Pal in the building with us now, Matt.
Oh shit. I'm getting this charger plugged in, boys.
Man, this is crazy. I came from one meeting with you to another meeting with you.
Bubba, I'm going to get this charger plugged in, and then we can really get this shit popping.
Hey.
Oh, shit. Oh, you got my sound now?
Do I got a what? Yeah, I got sound. I can hear both of you.
Beautiful. I'm finishing dinner, Matt.
Finishing dinner.
But it was such a good interview that I wanted to tap in and emphasize to people how golden this is. And if they're not paying attention, they should slap the shit out of themselves so they pay more attention to what's going on the screen. Because how much gold is real? Like, you're basically saying, in a nutshell, a lot of the same things that we talk about day to day. And you and I talk about this about working out or fighting. Like, you learn everything about boxing that you could ever know in 2 weeks. Then it's being able to do it under pressure and knowing what it's going to feel like when you're under the lights and when all the cameras are going off and the ring girl's walking around and you're fucking bleeding out of your face and shit, right? What you said earlier about the Bulls and having your Bulls moments.
Yeah.
You rattled off a bunch of your clients, man, but I think it's important before he even plays you these 2 songs, because what I just said to Gracie when she came in here is I think they should play you one of the best songs that's come through their thing, that's like the best mastering, right? Because all of the bag of tricks that you have, mastering is something I think all of this audience that listen needs to know.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, Lander's cool, and some of these algorithmic mastering things are cool, but they're not going to get you what the records that you do, for instance, right? And before that,
yeah, if you want your low end to sound right ever, and you're using Lander, and you have the expectation it's going to spit out your low end and your vocals crispy in the same algorithm, you live on fucking a planet I don't know. You know, like
right,
that's
it's
just
not real.
I don't know.
Yeah, like I mean, it's just like that's not capable of happening. Like, and I know like mastering and mixing is such a fucking real estate frequency math problem.
Right.
You gotta sacrifice one or the other sometimes. Like growing up, Al, like when we heard good hip hop, when that 808 banged, bro, you couldn't hear the vocal.
Nah, it wasn't even supposed to be a vocal there. And that's arrangement. Those are other things that I think, and I think we should make this a regular thing. Now watching this and being in the headphones on the whole way home, watching you break things down, and I thought, well, fuck, this should just be a segment. It's like, and because you're like the most real deal chef, and because we got the scene the other day, I think there should be a chopping block kind of section, right, where you come in and help me break down distro, creative, analyzing, so you know what's going on all these platforms, the financials of it, like how do you keep it all together, all the shit you've helped me over the last few months, that you've been helping Jelly over the last few years do, to get his shit to where it's, we can just go to the studio and create dope shit and know that somebody else is always looking at the market, always looking at the field or the court. The thing you said about the Bulls earlier, the Bulls moments, I think it's super important before you even break down the technical side of what I know you're about to do when he plays you these records. I think telling people a couple of those Bulls moments of like...
Hold up, Al, I can put you on chopping blocks right now.
You already got the graphics and shit where you got, we were talking about with the timers and shit?
Yeah, just hold up 1 second.
How about you just test it and show us? All right, no, we could do one of them. We could test one of them. Fuck it, since we're here. I just got to finish my last 2 bites of my wrap. Shout out to the BB. I'm still eating dinner shit. This is how unorganized this show is. Of course, because I'm at the helm. If I would just let Matt produce this show, y'all, you would have like dailies and sheets of shit and bullet points every day. But, we're getting there. We're getting
in
there.
the perfect world.
I can only give Matt 6 projects at a time to manage.
I'm kind
all right, so the first topic for you guys, this first topic
look at him, he's going.
Is for social media
ESPN,
marketing.
I told him on the way here, I shot him a text. This is how real fast that they are. This is only to them. This has nothing to do with me, right? I shot him a text on the way here. I said, yo, if you can keep Matt on the phone for long enough, we should do like an ESPN thing where we have like timers that break down things like distro and mastering, right? Is kind of what y'all have been covering right now. I think there's other things, though, we could do once a week where you come in and we break down like creative, what apps you're using on your phone to look at your analytics, Spotify artists, all those things that you and I talk about. Some of I know lots about, and other ones I'm just demystified. And I'm like, how did I not know this, Matt? Thank you for explaining it in layman's terms and breaking down why we need to be looking at this and why we need to, I think we could do that once a week. And I just sent him this text on the fucking way home and said, yo, if you can get a little timer like our big timers to be more like a minute time, like a second timer, So if he does this right now and there's some text at the bottom that says the chopping block, Kusa gets a raise. Matt's got to approve your raise.
I had it as talk time. What do you want it to be? Chopping block?
The chopping block. Matt, is that cool?
I'm for it. Fuck it.
Well, I mean, this is based around you.
Run it, dude. Yeah, run it.
It's because you're a chef and you be in there chopping up game. Remember that? They don't know because I've been to your house. I know how you cook every day. And I know you did that I've known you since you were like 17 years old. So people don't know how far we go back. We'll tell them some other time. Now's not the time, right? But the fact that you and I both started as kids that were just making beats on bullshit ass Windows computers. You started on Windows computer too, right? The fact that that's who we were, and now we're who we are, whatever the fuck that means, in whatever world. Some worlds care, some worlds give a fuck. They don't even know who we are, right? But the fact that that's who we are, and I know that a lot of the people listening, I'm doing a terrible thing while I'm eating right now. Yeah, I think it's important to come back and do this all the time. All right, so Kusa, how do I get? I'm on the Skype right now, but I want to see the chopping block. Do I need to turn the sound down here or on Facebook?
You'll have to turn your Facebook sound all the way down and look at it. It'll be a little lagged on you though because we're not broadcasting directly to the second.
I just wanted to see how it looked.
Okay, go ahead, go on there real quick. I haven't started the timer.
You got the lower thirds in there and shit?
I got everything.
You are out here, young Kusa.
Yeah. Young Wags in the motherfucking building.
Look at you, man. I'm fucking shit up, turning my phone the wrong way and shit.
I can't be
wow,
in there too.
We're on ESPN right now. What just happened?
This the real deal shit right here.
All right, now, so I got to go back to the Skype in order for y'all to pick me back up, right?
Yep.
Fuck, I've lost Skype on my phone. Let me. I remember how you told me to search apps, though. Hold on. Look, Matt, you know something crazy? I didn't learn how to search apps and just look for it on my phone instead of like searching through all the pages of apps until like 3 days ago. Kusa was like, dumbass, just go to the fucking first page and type the beginning of the app. And
I didn't even know you paid attention to me when I said that. I'm so glad you did that.
I just did it just now in real time. Now I'm about to go hook my headphones back up because I've lost them. And I think I'm smart enough to do that. I'm almost positive I'm smart enough to do this.
You got this. I believe in you firmly.
I got to disconnect and reconnected. Let's see. Disconnected, reconnected. Oh, shit, I just heard it say it. Connected in my head.
Right now.
Yeah, I'm getting double managed right now. How anybody ever put me in charge of their career when I was managed before I retired is beyond me. I have no idea. Who the fuck thought that was a good idea? Whoever approved any of those fucking invoices was out of their mind. Listen, I should be a creative manager. If you're going to manage me to create or hire me to manage something, it should be big vision and creative expertise. If you're hiring me to manage anything else, you fucked up.
Hey,
you should get Matt and Kusa.
The screen now says Kusa is getting a raise. Let's get a real round of applause, guys. All right.
Real
so
applause.
you ready now to start it? Let's do the chopping block. All right, y'all got.
We're gonna go.
How long? 3 minutes. You gonna give you 3 minutes per topic?
No, I don't think we need that long. I think we do what, Matt? A minute or 90 seconds? Listen,
what's my topic? Give me 90 seconds.
90. 90 feels like the time. Look, he's not on me. Like, what's my topic?
What's the topic? Let's get it.
All right.
Yeah, it's full of nothing, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. So it makes it all that more exciting for me.
I know, right? Me neither. All I see is Skype. I'm with you. I don't see shit, no Facebook, or nothing. It's just us here. It's just me and you, baby. Let's go. Stop it down. Okay. What's the subject?
All right, Gracie, you want to come up with a subject with me? This is all off the whim. Y'all are watching this shit live right now. All right, so
90 seconds chopping block. What we chopping now?
I'm gonna give y'all a topic. All right, so the topic is working your way into the industry as an intern. Doing the Travis Scott, doing the pretty much what I did, working your way into the industry.
Well, we both did. What me and Matt both did.
So what all three of us on the screen have done. Yeah, what all three of us on the screen have done. 90 seconds starting now.
Go, Matt.
I mean, I think that the quickest way to get into this business is to find yourself in opportunities, but it's not to just find yourself in opportunities, it's to make sure you can capitalize on them when you get there. So like I had a guy my freshman year who told me he would let me first engineer any project I brought to his studio. So what was my goal as a freshman in college was to make sure by the time I graduated, I brought this dude 20 projects. So it's like by that time, I could at least walk out of college and say, hey, I got experience engineering on 20 projects. And I guarantee you no other college kid in MTSU had that. So it's like, but allowing myself to do that, I couldn't have done it had I not already had 3 years experience doing it at home. I'd have gone in that first session and he'd have never taken an artist I brought back to him. But it was the fact I went in ready and capitalized. And I think that's what you got to make sure you do. It's like you're going to get opportunities. Make sure you're fucking ready for them.
Amen. Whoa! Was that 90? Did he come in under?
Yeah, he came in under. I'm pretty sure he came in right under.
How many seconds? Whoa! That was powerful. I had to get some toothpicks to get the spinach out of my teeth. This is powerful there.
Actually, that was actually a minute. That was not even. Yeah, that wasn't even.
Oh man, that should give us the power minute.
So listen, if we were in the gym right now, I would not go ahead and do the 90 rep. I would do the 1 minute. So give me the 1 minute. And what was the subject? How did you say it, Coos? Intern to the top, or like how to get an internship? How did you put it? I love what you said, by the way, Matt.
Yeah, pretty much what Matt said, like how to work your way into, like how to capitalize once you get into being an intern.
Okay, once you get the opportunity, got it. How do you make the most of it? And that was an incredible answer.
Since Matt talked about capitalizing, you could even talk about how to become.
No. We got to be breaking down the same thing, or it's not the chopping block.
Okay.
That was. I know this is a new segment, and we just started doing this 30 seconds ago. But I think I need to be talking about the same thing. Or we're not chopping something down, right? And then we're giving. Sometimes we're going to agree. Sometimes we're going to agree on it. Every now and then, Matt's going to be like, "Wait a minute," because it happens all the time. Me and Jelly call it the exact difference. Me and Matt experience it. I'm sure they experience it. Yeah. We'll be like 90% in agreement on something. And then every now and then it's like, wait, hold up. I don't know. This isn't going to happen on this subject, obviously. But we'll get to something. We'll get to distributors that we disagree about or ways to accomplish something that will be 90%. But I want to do 1 minute on how to capitalize on when you get the opportunity. Because that's basically what Matt did.
Start now.
Give me just a second. No. I'm not ready. Zoe walked in on me. Zoe, pal.
God damn, you're screaming.
He just walked in and said, "God damn, dude, just screaming at me." Hey, man, sorry. They're not trying to play games. They got headphones on, and I'm still louder than them. Look, they can still hear me in the scream. All right, let me go on the porch so I can smoke and not scream.
To the basement.
Did you really? No, listen, here's what's funny. I heard your girl come in like, "Why aren't you answering the fucking phone?" And you're like, "I'm on an interview with these motherfuckers." What the fuck? Al didn't even tell me I was doing an interview. I thought it was
I was trying to like mute the microphone and shit. I was like, mute.
So tell your girl we're sorry.
Yeah,
I think I literally just, Brittany, we're sorry if you're watching. It was 100% on me, and I think I just broke the bowl in the process of this, but it's okay. All right, y'all can hear me though, right? I know my visual's probably a lot less out here, but I won't get in trouble. So there's that part, and I can smoke. So I'm gonna hit this bowl, and then you put my 1 minute on the counter. You tell me when it's up.
You may just turn this light. You may get Gracie to turn this light on right here.
Yeah. I'm like 6 feet away from them on the Skype right now, Matt. Boom! Look at that. Does that give me any light? No, huh? Still no light. No, I didn't break it.
It's okay.
That's all right. They'll be able to hear me. Yeah, they'll be able to hear me.
All right.
You just won't be able to see me as well. All right, you ready? 1 minute on this. Reminded me of the book. Hearing your story, Matt, it reminded me of the book. And y'all might pick the kids up in the background because they're still in there playing game, still just behind the door behind me. So It reminded me of the Kevin Lyles book. What is his book? From Intern to the Top, or From Intern to Greatness, or something. So, give me my 1 minute. Tell me when to go, Coos.
All right, and go.
There should be a clicking in the background. So, I fully, wholeheartedly agree with what Matt said on this chopping block, that you have to maximize the opportunity once you get there. For your case, Coos, because you come into a situation where you get to meet all these people that have all this information, kind of what Matt was saying. For me, I wanted to make movies. That was always my big dream of everything that this was doing. I still want to make movies right now. It's why my videos look a certain way. So when I started doing video, I did videos for free for almost a year for people, or for the cost of whatever it costs to do the video. I wasn't fucking making any profit whatsoever, even though we were bringing in jibs, and because I've been around a bunch of sets. So for me, it's always been the same thing. Like, let me maximize the opportunity, get as many phone numbers as I can from whoever seems like they actually do things, and then have a portfolio that no matter what the fuck it costs me to get this portfolio to look like I know what the fuck I'm doing. Like 6 months from the time that I learned video, 6 months later, I had like 9 videos that looked like I've been shooting high-level videos, because they had jib operators on them, and they had real lights, and they had shit that I had went to Atlanta and seen. So for me, it's the same thing that Matt said. We fully agree on this chopping block of chopping down. What it means when you get an internship is that you're fucking at the gate of the Super Bowl, or at the gate of the stadium. You are not at the Super Bowl just because you work at Def Jam now, and that's what Kevin Lyles said too. So I led with that. He went from intern to the top of running Def Jam, and then wrote a fucking book about it.
Off the chopping block.
Read the fucking Kevin Lyles book. You'll be more like Matt by the time you're finished. That's what we're all trying to do. From intern to greatness. Thank you, dear. So, Gracie just bought me some more weed. What's the next subject, Coos? I like this shit. We'll do one more with you. That's all you're getting out of us. That's all you're getting out of us.
All right.
One more tonight. One more chop down.
Man,
what are we chopping?
How to not take your socks off when you get to the Super Bowl, because this is something that people need to hear, even if they're not going to soak the fucking knowledge in. That's their choice. They still need to hear it.
Matt, I think you have such a good take on this, but I feel like to make you go first on everyone is not fair, right?
Well, let me explain it to the viewers a little more, because they don't really know what taking your socks off at the Super Bowl is. It's pretty much how
to Coos.
I'm listening.
Go ahead. No. I would just...
pretty much the way I look at it is it's just not celebrating too early, not saying, all right, so fuck it, I made $1 million, I'm finna go buy 100 fucking vehicles and fucking do this, and I'm gonna buy the nicest fucking watch, and I'm gonna blow my fucking money and go to the strip club and throw fucking ones, and pretty much that's it.
So that was a very, very intricate breakdown of what I said to Coos when he got here. A couple months into it, and something happened. I don't know what it was, but some of the guys around us, because we were, in the big studio and the tour, and it was just, shirts were flying out, and I was having a talk with Coos and said those exact words. Just don't take your socks off in the Super Bowl. A lot of these motherfuckers going to celebrate right now because they think we've hit something, because there's a couple little changes going on. But this is, even the Super Bowl, if you're in your first year like Coos is, it's like, dude, you got 15 more Super Bowls. You play it right. You could be here every year celebrating some big shit. So, yes, that's an intricate, great breakdown, and I'd love to take that one first. That way we'll go back and forth. That's what the theme will be. You break one down first, and I'll break one down first, right? So, tell me when you're on your timer, Coos.
All right, you want to hit your bowl real quick and then go on the timer?
I do. I do.
I fucking knew it.
What am I gonna get? A cigarette.
Got it.
Somebody said chopping block. I'm about to chop down some weed and roll a cone.
Boom, got it. I'm having to adjust. Right. I'm putting the fucking phone on my foot. As I mentioned, we just started doing this podcast 72 hours ago. The segment was created right before your eyes, folks. So you're on the chopping block. I'm on the chopping block. Tell me when you're on 1 minute.
All right, and go.
So don't take your socks off in the Super Bowl. Why? Because if you just got to the Super Bowl wearing those socks, the superstition amongst the whole NFL, anybody that's superstitious is, if you take those socks off, you're going to fuck your mojo up. If you're in the Super Bowl, the chances are you did some things to get there, whether you're Barry Sanders, whether you're Deion Sanders, or whether you're a quarterback or running back. You did a bunch of things that got you there, and if you take your socks off in that game, it means that you're starting to just do what's popular, or you're starting to just do something different than whatever got you there. That's the saying, and I don't remember who said it to me, but that's why I spread it to anybody I know that's young, because you're going to get some Super Bowl opportunities young in your career. But if you change what got you there, it's going to fuck up your trajectory and it's going to fuck up your path. And I do it all the time. All football players forget that they're Barry Sanders and that they are the fucking juker. You know what I mean? And that you're supposed to be shaking people, not trying to run up the middle, and that you're running fucking circles around people because you're little and you're bulky and you can do that. So what my thing is that I do best, I got to do that all the time. And that's not changing my socks. Bam.
You done?
Did I get under 1 minute? Did I beat it? Woo! I came in with 10 to go.
No, you came in at a minute 10, so you came in with 20
Oh, a minute 10. I'm 10 over. I fucked the point spread.
No.
I don't know what the point spread was. Good shit. I can do it.
A giant horn when we get.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He has. Wait.
Hold on. Let me see if they're working.
We can't hear him because you're on Skype. We're on Skype. Remember? They hear him on the broadcast. You'll hear it though. If you have the air horn right now, Coos hit it twice.
Hold up 1 second.
Oh, he told it.
So y'all got
to.
My bad. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, y'all get a minute 30. So you came in 20 seconds under.
I thought we went to. We did a minute on the other one because you did it in a minute. So now you can take your 90 if you want. I just made these rules up just now. So you can take your 90 if you want. It's a new game. Who the fuck? There are no rules yet. We're creating them right now. So there are no fucking rules except for the ones we create, right? So we start with 90, but because you did the other one in a minute, I did it in a minute. I came in under a minute. And now, so the bar is 70, but I would like to hear your 90. So I ain't going to stop you at 70 for sure. Because I think you have lots of great input on this.
Yeah. So is it ready for me to rock?
Yeah,
I think so, rock.
You can rap, rock, whatever the hell you want to do with that shit. You got 90 seconds.
Like, I think that it really boils down to is like, I've always looked for hungriness in every business or everything that I've ever done. And like, it goes back to, getting those opportunities and self-awareness and being, ready for those opportunities. But I think the key is that I don't care who you are. Like, Jelly Roll will tell you today, Matt Wallace is the motherfucker in the front of the classroom with his hand up all the fucking time. All the time.
Absolutely. Those are your socks. You want to know.
No motherfucking choice but to call on me because I'm over here doing this all day, Teach. Oh, yeah, you might not give me this one because some other kid raised his hand, but I'm here, and I'm here all day, and I'm doing this, and you're going to call on me because I know the exact play I want to run and the play I want to be involved in because I know that's where I'm good. And I'm ready to win, and I'm saying, put me in, coach, because I know if you put me in, I'm winning. Whatever that moment is. And I think that's the kind of tenacity that I look for in every artist I work with. It's being hungry, it's being humble, and it's being talented in that order. And I think
I love it.
How you create moments in a career for an independent artist that take you to the next level. You've got to always be hungry. If you take your socks off and you're celebrating, you don't have the kind of hunger that's going to get you to the next level. You've already missed your chance. There's somebody else that isn't celebrating.
You are off the chopping block,
and
Matt.
he wants to win.
If you're already celebrating,
I got
there's somebody in the waiting room waiting to take your spot. Yeah, stop fucking celebrating out here. Celebrate when it's time, man. That's what it means, dude. And you nailed it. I knew you would. Don't celebrate till it's fucking time. We're going to have time. There's going to be real Super Bowl moments, but just because it feels like it, the NFC feels like the Super Bowl. The lights are there. There's 50,000 people watching the shit or however many fucking people fit in whatever stadium they chose to throw it in. Yeah. It feels exactly the same, dude. 700 people feels like 7,000 people. 7,000 people feels like 70,000. It gets a little, there's a little bit more of a rush and there's a little bit more of a thing and it's a milestone, but it's the same fucking shit. The Super Bowl, I coach my kids' basketball team, Matt, and of course now Koosh because you're my family, but them winning their last game, even though there's no trophy, there's no belt, there's no ring, there's no none. That shit is just as intense at my house as when I've been to the biggest shows of my career. Shout out to Peter Keys and Skinner for the opportunity to come play Red Fest. Would definitely be the biggest thing I ever played, right? That shit doesn't feel any different than going playing 200 people at the off-Broadway CMA extra stage. It's all the same shit, right? Don't change your socks. What did you say it is? Humble or hungry, humble, then talented.
Yes.
I'm getting that tattooed on me.
I swear.
Real shit. That's a t-shirt and a tattoo. You just created your first motherfucking chopping block t-shirt. Thank you. Congratulations, Matt. Let's give him a real applause and some digital applause for the first fucking chopping block segment of this intensely well put together, incredibly produced podcast, radio show, whatever the fuck thing we're doing here. Hey, we're proud of you, Coos.
Hey, I'm proud
and
of
all this
everybody
advice.
involved.
Hey, man, we're proud of you that you could get us both on a Skype and the audio not be echoing or fucking buzzing.
Even though both of y'all got in trouble for being too loud on y'all Skypes and shit, it was cool. You know what I'm saying?
You're the ratchet ass kids. Yeah, no, it's truth, man. It's because we're intensely excited by the conversation that we have with one another. That's to a young artist. So you are our audience in a lot of ways, right?
Sleeper and Legends episode 2 for real, like.
Actually who we were talking to right now is your audience. Our audience has probably been listening to things that me and Matt have been creating together, and me and Jelly have been creating together, and all of us as a scene have been doing for years, right? There's a lot of that that's part of our demo or our viewership, the people that have been supporting us for the last few nights. Thank you, motherfuckers. We happy quarantivity to you. And this is what we decided to do with our downtime, was create a motherfucking radio show. So the fact that we have friends like you that are legends and sleepers, you're one of those very interesting stories, Matt, that falls into, our theme, because we've been talking about it, legends and sleepers. You're both in a lot of ways. You started talking a little bit about your artist shit earlier, and I think it's important that we get into that. We should definitely end with do you and Jelly have a song together yet? Is there a Still Matthews and a Jelly Roll, Jason DeFord? I think y'all should do it as Still Matthews and Jason DeFord. There's not one yet, is there? There's not one out that we can hear, huh?
There's not. We are working on one, though. I will.
So let me ask this.
Yeah,
Matt does have shit out.
5 out there. It's all out as Still Matthews, so you can check out my artist project on Still Matthews.
Don't you love how he did an entire podcast about music and shit and never said, except for like one accidental time he mentioned his own project, right? So I don't care. Look, Fee's walking by like, turn it down, turn it down. I don't care. Look, you see all my neighbors, they've all turned their porch lights on since I came out here. They think that they're gonna make me be quiet, but they're not. And I don't give a shit. So whatever. Put my little headphones back on and do our porch cast. I'm on the porch cast. So
Matt,
I think it's dope that you.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. Can you tell me how to spell it real quick? So I'm gonna put it in the comments.
STILL Matthews, motherfucker. Still.
MATTHEWS.
Hey.
Still Matthews.
The fact that you didn't mention any of your own music shit, really, except for by accident, just in conversation through the whole thing, is a testament to how dope you are. And it's a lot of what I also have. I feel like I'm a legend and a sleeper too. In certain circles, we're legends. If you bring up Matt, Matt, right? Not Still, right? You're a legend in many circles in Nashville of people that have done what we're all trying to do, which is make a living from our art via our phone. That's the basic principle.
Yeah,
right?
Dude. Like, I had one of the weirdest moments for the first time ever, right? In this comedian that's like huge on TikTok, right? Hits me up and Facebook Messenger, dog, right? In the weirdest way. And I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, hey man, I know you don't know who I am, but my buddy, I live in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and he talks about you like you're just the god of Nashville.
Because he's listened to it and he's soaked it all in, and he knows what the whole scope of the Still project is. He knows what me and Jelly know. Yeah, he knows what me and Jelly know that not a lot of people know unless they really know your whole background and story.
Well, unless somebody's like, hey, man, and I guess this kid, whoever I met with, like, went back to Rock Hill, South Carolina, and was like, I met with Matt Wallace, and let me tell you who Matt Wallace is. You know,
right, and broke it down, exactly.
Yeah, and you're like, whoa, dude, that's the coolest thing ever. So I had that moment, and I'll tell you what, I got all the way through, like, a conversation with this kid, and he's like, well, yeah, so what are you doing now? And I told him I managed Jelly Roll.
Lost his mind. So he knew. He was on the music side first, where he broke down who you were and then what you had done to get there as a CPA and as a business manager pre the management company. Didn't even get to the management company part of the story yet. And then it's like, oh, yeah, and the topping on this whole cake is after this 15 years of his music producer career and songwriter career and becoming an artist, he also happens to manage this dude. And the dude, of course, knew exactly who the fuck Jelly was, right? Big fan.
This dude is this comedian named Gordo Loco. Gordo Loco.
Shout out to Gordo. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not a fan, but I just became a huge one.
Yeah, he's super like, he's a big dude. I mean, 500, 600 pounds, you know, like, so.
Okay.
The kind of guy that listens to Jelly Roll is inspired by it, dude. Like,
yeah, for sure. I love it, dude. I'm laughing at the beauty of what the internet does now of like just lining us all up with each other. Like, oh, you know, you can see who everyone is now, really, right? It takes kind of the blinders off of like who everyone used to be. So like our biggest supporters are people that are damn near they're doppelgangers of us in a lot of ways. Yeah. And I find that to be great, dude. And for shows like this, because we're not the only people that you know became a fucking podcast over the quarantine, right? Shout out to anyone that's been doing this their whole fucking adult life that's been trying to get a podcast off, because it's a lot tougher than it feels, and it's a lot to it, and there's a lot of boxes to connect, and there's just as much shout out to all of the new artists that are watching this, because we have picked up hundreds, if not thousands, of new impressions of people that are following this every night now, right? And I know because we've stressed a lot longer and we were kind of doing this all off the fly, and we just created a fucking segment called The Chopping Block, and they're going to watch you cook lobster tomorrow or next week, whatever the fuck you decide to bless us again, right? They're going to watch you in your kitchen and cook the goddamn shit that you've been able to obtain from all of this game that you're willing to put on the chopping block. And we'll keep you to like a 20, 30-minute window so we don't get you in trouble next time. Yeah. But I want Kusa to play a still song, number one, so they can hear how incredible you are as an artist, because you're so selfless and you never push that side of you in any conversation at all, right? And I think that that's an important thing. It's something you and I talk about as y'all becoming my upper management and me coming in to help A&R with things and just give my perspective and fly on the wall on the creator side of things, right? I think that they should play, you should play a still song, and then you should do what I was going to do earlier, because I think that's almost another segment that you tap in sometimes and play them the best one that came from these lives and maybe the one that needs the most work, so he can give them the honest opinion of like, this is what's great about the first one and this is what the second one's missing.
Gotcha.
You with that, Matt? You got time to do that? Can we bother you for that much longer, for about a 15-minute window? Or do you have to come on tomorrow? You got to come on and do this tomorrow. Okay, this is what you do. Play the still song, and that's what we're bringing Matt back for the next segment. And he just said tomorrow, so that means Sunday for real. For sure Sunday.
So we're going to outro you, Matt, with the still song?
He knows me.
He's Matt, don't call me. I'll call you motherfucking Still Matthews. What the fuck you mean I know? Of course I know. He'll call us on Sunday and tap in when we will have Jelly in, because Jelly had a lot of shit going on. Obviously, y'all know I had a meeting with Matt about getting everything back up on Spotify and if I was making the right choice with DistroKid. Shout out to the people over there. Of course, Matt and I had our own chopping block today about TuneCore and DistroKid. I taped some of it just because I felt like I didn't know things he was saying to me. So there's some footage. I just put my he was like, what are you doing? Why do you have your cow? I was like, because I'm going to forget half the shit you're saying. And it's fucking a lot. So I need to be able to fucking go back and listen later and make notes. Because it's going to fuck the vibe up. So I think we should do like a full breakdown on distro, because y'all got into such a good conversation about that, and then we'll do another chopping block on the best and the one that needs the most work on Sunday when you tap back in on the Skype, because we're gonna have Jelly here physically. So we'll tap you in on the Skype. Me, you, and Jelly will do a chopping block, the three of us maybe together.
I love it.
Namaste, my brother. I appreciate you. We are going to close out with a still record. I want you to introduce it and talk to Coos for a minute. I'm going to hang up and let him produce his own fucking show because he's got good at it. We thank you, man. You're not only a friend of the show, you're a goddamn patriarch of the show and a blessing.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Yeah, we thank you. Love. Coos, you close this out. Coos, the producer, man.
I got you. All right, Matt. So which song you want us to play? We have them all pulled up on YouTube right now.
Take them out with let's do How I Cope.
How I Cope. That was the first one that popped up. I'm assuming this is the most popping one.
Really, Gym Knock Queen's the most popping.
All right, let me know if y'all can hear that out there.
I love it. I'm gonna tap in on the Facebook and talk to y'all then.
Bet, do that. Go ahead and tap in on the Facebook. Love, Matt.
Right,
appreciate you for letting me pick your brain.
See you Sunday.
See you Sunday.
Make a toast to the past.